Hello there guys, welcome to Dinos World. Today is a day to rejoice here in the Indian motorcycling history because KTM is unveiling their ultimate track weapon, the Duke 790. The moment all you and me KTM fanboys have been waiting for is finally arrived, because this super slick track machine is going to invade the streets of India, and it's going to redefine performance and value and razor sharp precision that KTM motorcycles have always been known for. Back in 2012, they completely redefined performance and made a statement as to what one can expect in terms of motorcycling and in terms of performance and in terms of precision. But now this goes to the completely different level. The next level is here. A new dimension is opening up, and this is the beginning of a new era as to completely redefining the kind of equipment that you can expect from a middleweight category motorcycle. So every detail that you need to know about this Duke 790 is what is coming up. I'm here at KTM Begumpet, and please stay tuned for all the action and all the info that's coming up at Dinos World in this walkaround feature. So the scalpel, the Duke 790, is finally here. Just for those who aren't aware, the word scalpel implies an extremely sharp-bladed instrument which is used for anatomical dissection in surgeries. So why the reference here, you might ask? Well, KTM wants to highlight the razor-sharp precision that this bike offers in terms of cutting through corners and delivering outstanding handling characteristics when it comes to riding dynamics. So first, let's look at the design. The design justifies its name scalpel as well because of its sharpshooter design language, with the panels crafted to perfection to underscore the cutting edge technology that defines this machine and the crazy intense performance that lurks underneath. The headlamp resembles that of the 390 to a great extent and resembles my Scully's face with the orange and black highlights. I love the short front fender that underscores the bike's supermoto character. The tank is my favorite design element, sharpened like an arrow to be able to cut through the air as the rider and the machine become one unstoppable force. I also like this triangular slit through the exposed bolt-on subframe, which actually houses the air intake boxes. The tail lamp is neatly laid out, and we do get a well-positioned pillion grab bar as well. The seats are neatly laid out too and offer adequate room for the rider as well as the pillion. The slim profile tank, as I mentioned before, is sculpted to perfection. The handlebar is nice and wide, and the foot pegs are perfectly set to offer a slightly forward biased typical naked sport bike riding posture. The full color TFT console looks gorgeous as it lights up and offers truckloads of info. As you can see here, we get trip info, average speed, average fuel consumption for the last 100 kilometers, fuel range, etc. We also get 4 different riding modes, namely Sport, Street, Rain and Track, with the Track mode offering more customizable settings. I have done a separate video on the Speedo console, and I would request you to watch that video by following the link in the description portion below. As a part of KTM's motorcycle stability control system, we get 9 levels of traction control, with levels 1 to 6 being used for the Sport mode, levels 7 and 8 being used for the Street mode, and level 9 to be used for the Rain mode. And we can also turn off traction control completely. Now, what is traction control, you might ask? Well, traction control in a nutshell means it controls the excess rear wheel spin during a start and helps you launch more effectively. When the rear wheel is spinning faster than the front wheel, this results in loss of traction. Hence, the traction control system intervenes here to provide adequate traction and prevents excessive rear wheel spin even on wet surfaces. Now, the best part about Duke 790 is that we get lean angle sensors, pitch axis and accelerometers which sense and prevent excess rear wheel spin even if the rider tries to give full acceleration midway through the corner. Next, we have something called MSR, which stands for motor slip regulation. Now this, along with PASC or power assist slipper clutch, allows for faster downshifts without running the risk of the rear wheel locking or hopping. The rear wheel locking and hopping during faster downshifts is caused when the engine braking is greater than the rear wheel speed. So the MSR on board the new Duke 790 works in conjunction with the slipper clutch system on board and prevents rear wheel locking and hopping even when the rider is downshifting rapidly. The slipper clutch also provides for a lighter clutch feel, and we do get easily adjustable clutch and brake levers which can be operated with a single hand, which the rider can set as per his or her finger reach. Now apart from this, we get dual channel ABS on board, which is switchable, which means you can turn it off completely. Now once you've turned it off, in order to turn it on back again, all you need to do is turn off the ignition and turn it back on, and you can see here that the ABS has been switched back on. We also have KTM's renowned Supermoto mode, which turns off ABS only for the rear wheel, allowing you to perform those power slides and drifts with ease. Now the best part is that we get cornering ABS on board this Duke 790, which helps the rider to maintain the line and the direction of travel while cornering, despite having to brake midway through the corner. Now talking about the engine, KTM is known for using singles and V twins, and while the Super Dukes all utilize 75-degree V twins, the 790 Duke had to make do with a parallel twin setup because KTM wanted to make this bike as compact as possible. The LC8C stands for liquid cooled 8-valve compact engine. Now this is indeed truly compact, and the engine itself is used as a stressed member of the frame. The 799cc parallel twin engine puts out 105 PS of max power at 9000 rpm and 87 Newton meters of max torque at 8000 rpm. We get a 6-speed gearbox with dual direction quick shifter, which works for clutchless upshifts as well as downshifts. Now, because the engine was designed to be quick revving with minimal vibration, the lightweight forged pistons feature DLC or diamond-like carbon-coated piston pins to reduce piston assembly weight and thus reducing reciprocating mass. Similarly, the forged connecting rods are cracked at the big end, thereby providing a unique pattern to the joint, again to save on weight. The forged crankshaft has the pins offset by 75 degrees with a 435-degree firing order to help mimic the sound and the character of the Duke 790's larger V-twin siblings. The pressure cast cases are a horizontal split design with the cylinders built into the top case. Now the cylinders themselves are sleeveless with Nickel coating on the aluminum cylinder walls for better cooling and weight savings. The 8-valve head holds the two chain-driven camshafts, which are kept small to reduce weight again by using DLC-coated finger followers to actuate the valves. We also get two balancer shafts on board to reduce the overall vibrations to a bare minimum. The dual direction quick shifter provides for seamless clutchless upshifts as well as downshifts. Please note that the track riding mode unlocks several other unique features like different levels of throttle response, namely track, sport and street. We also get anti-wheelie mode and launch control exclusively in the track riding mode, because as soon as we leave the track mode and choose a different riding mode, these options are no longer visible. Now talking about the chassis, the chrome moly or chromium molybdenum tubular steel frame uses the engine as a stressed member, and according to KTM, the frame was tuned to allow the right amount of flex, which allows the bike to be thrashed around to the rider's satisfaction. The exposed bolt-on subframe is a one-piece cast aluminium unit. Also, we get a unique placement for the airbox intakes located between the rails of the subframe, and the airbox has intakes located in the cooler, which results in relatively turbulence-free air behind the rider's knees. The swing arm is a die-cast open lattice swing arm, which works in conjunction with the chassis and the rear monoshock to offer best-in-class handling characteristics. Talking about suspension, the open cartridge 43mm inverted front forks use split functions, with compression and rebound functions being carried out by different legs. But please note that the front forks are not adjustable. Additionally, the springs are progressively wound, with the initial travel being softer to allow for plushness over rough pavement, while at the same time also delivering a sportily firm ride when the road gets twisty. At the back, we get a gas-assisted monoshock with preload adjustability. Now, since the rake is a sporty 24 degrees and the trail is 3.8 inches, KTM chose to fit the 790 with a steering damper, which is outstanding. Talking about the brakes, braking is handled by a pair of 300mm discs up front. The 4-piston radially mounted calipers are KTM branded units manufactured by J. Huan. At the back, we get a single 240mm disc with a single piston caliper, and as mentioned before, the bike gets cornering ABS, which is really amazing. Talking about the tires, we get Maxxis Supermax ST tires with a 120 by 70 tire up front and a 180 by 55 tire at the back. Now these tires have been specifically developed for the Duke 790 and are made up of nano silica compound to offer improved road grip even on wet surfaces. Seat height is 825 mm, but we also get a lower special accessories seat which would reduce it to 805 mm. Ground clearance is 186 mm, which is more than sufficient. Tank capacity is 14 liters, which is good enough to offer decent tank range. And the craziest part about this bike is that it weighs a mere 169 kgs dry, which results in an insane power to weight ratio of around 612 bhp per ton, which is higher than even some of the best supercars out there. Now coming to the most important part, the pricing. The ex-showroom price for the Duke 790 is Rs 8,63,945 and KTM are also offering some lucrative EMI options with lower interest rate to begin with. So this concludes my review of the Duke 790. I will be sharing my first ride review soon, so please stay tuned for that. Until then, take care, God bless and ride safe.